Hello folks, this is Scott Grove of GroovyMusicLessons.com, here today to talk to you about the long defunct, meaning they don't make them anymore, Johnson Marquee series amplifiers. The Millennium amplifiers are the ones that I normally use, and they have two 12AX7 tubes in the preamp section. All digital modeling technology. They were the first modeling amps ever. Blow line 6 out of the water. Line 6 can be blown out of the water with anything. A cotton swab will blow line 6 out of the water. The cotton swab won't even bother to absorb it. It's so foul. Okay, and then solid state power. Amazing, and nothing has come close to the Johnson Millennium amplifiers since. They are amazing, amazing amps. I've tried the Axe Effects 1 and 2. I still like the Johnson. Sorry, fractal audio, still not quite as good as far as my personal ears go. But people asked me to show them the Marquee series of the Johnson amplifiers, which have about 1/20th of the capability. They are still somewhat of a modeling-esque amplifier, but they are in line with all the stuff that is out today as far as 20 years later. Yeah. As far as the easy way that they operate. They operate on a whole different level than the Millenniums do. Okay, let me just show you the two different amps that were in the Marquee series. This one has simply been recovered in black Tolex. This is, sorry for my bad panning around, the Marquee 120, which means it is stereo, has two 12-inch speakers in it, 60 watts RMS per side. Okay, and not to be in any way confused with its brother right over here, sorry for the horrible camera work, the Marquee JM60, which is almost the exact same amp with the minus of a couple of stereo effects, but it has 60 watts going into one 12-inch speaker, and then a 12-inch, or then a speaker output for another 8 ohm load. These can only go as low as 8 ohms per side. So they are almost the exact same amp, except for that one is stereo ready. It has stereo effects, but only if you add the extra 112 cabinet, which they sold, or which anybody can buy of any kind. It's hard to find the exact Johnson one, but otherwise I would have it, since I do have the Johnson 212 cabinet underneath the Millennium here, and some 412 cabinets by them out in the garage. But anyway, back to the amps. They are very, very, like I said, much in line. God, my camera work is so bad. Sorry, I suck so much. With today's, meaning 2013, with the stuff that's out today. And again, sorry that I suck so bad at this. I'm going to try to get close so I can make some kind of sense out of it and don't puke because I'm doing so badly at it. Okay, once this amp got on it, then I'll get over there where I can just shut the heck up with this stuff. Okay, you get to choose. There, good God. Okay, input. One input, nothing else. That's all you need. There's no reason to have two inputs on an amp. Okay, you have a master volume. That's for the whole amp. Everybody gets it. Okay, straight across the board before we get to the top. You have gain. We all know what it is. Treble, mid, bass. Presence is just treble, but higher frequency than treble. Okay, here's a level. What's the level for? That's the level for your clean sound. Okay? No, actually. What you have is just like on any amp, you have a level. That's your master volume. Normally, not this master volume, but that's for the whole amp, for your channel 1 and channel 2s and all kinds of other stuff. But you have, let's say, forget about that guy, but that is the entire amp. Okay, so the gain for your amp, and then the volume for your amp. But then this here gets to you, because that's setting it for presets. So you can make one preset louder than another. Okay? Because usually distortion seems like it's louder until you go to a gig, then all your distortion settings are actually quieter than you set them at home. Distortion just sounds louder until you get live at a gig. Then all of a sudden it's not loud enough. So you change the volume right there, go over there and hit store, and it will stay there forever and ever and ever and ever until you change it and hit store, you know, a couple times again. Okay, so you have your regular tone controls. Okay, what you have over here is simply your modulation pitch effects. So what do you have? You have chorus, flanger, phaser, a tremolo pan. Okay, so it'll just go back and forth, back and forth. Yes, that's my hand. Between the two, a vibro pan, another stereo effect, a ring modulator, which you'll hear, pitch, which you can actually have different harmonies, so you can play in fourths and fifths, or octaves above, octaves below, or 2 octaves above plus a 1 octave below, or 3 different octaves, or you can have a 5th above and a 4th below plus your original one, and then these 3 things to make that happen, these 3 knobs for all of those. Okay, so that is one effects section, your modulation and pitch. So you have 3 effects sections, and they are very easy to use. Not like the Millennium. The Millennium, you have pages and pages and pages and pages of digital screens, LED screens to scroll through. But they are much more personal amps. You could do so much more with the Johnson Millennium. But these are a good user-friendly thing if you don't want to be scrolling through pages and pages and pages of crap. So basically, if you're not a geek, get the Marquee. But if you're a person who just loves to do all the digital stuff and have things right at, I mean, exactly the way you want them, like I do, then go for the Millennium amplifiers. But these are very easy. 2 knobs here for this. You have a delay section. You can have analog delay, which is actually analog. Your digital delay, it just says delay. Or ping pong, meaning going back and forth in the stereo field. So you mic both speakers. And if you're running the PA in stereo, or if you're recording in stereo, it will actually bounce back and forth in your headphones and to your master. So you have your delay control and your feedback. Feedback is how many times it repeats. Okay? Or you can use the tap button and tap in the exact tempo you want the delay to be. Store the whole damn thing. You're good to go. Finally, right here, nice and easy, reverb. You have 3 choices. Plate, Hall, and Spring. The Spring sounds exactly like a Spring reverb. Then you just turn it up to how you want it. The plate is just sound like an old plate from how they had them. An actual great big huge metal plate hanging in the back of the studio. They were that way when I was a kid. That's the only thing you had was Spring reverbs or a plate reverb, and they were real. There was no digital crap when I was growing up. Yes, I'm old. But I keep it on Hall because it is so much more pleasing to the ear. The old Spring thing is for you people who just love the old Spring sounds of like a Fender Twin and that kind of crap. I say that kind of crap because I mean that kind of crap because I don't like it. You're more than welcome to like it, of course, anything you want. Okay, select. That does one of 2 things. You can select what patch you're on. Just go through. You'll have patch 1, 1, 1, 2, or 1, 3. No, it's not 11, 12, and 13. It's bank 1, channel 1, 2, or 3, as you can see. Then after you get past 1, 3, it goes to 2, 1, 2, 2, and 2, 3. So it goes to bank 2. Then bank 3, then you have 1, 2, and 3 on the channel. So that is not a 12. That is bank 1, channel 2. I'll show you what that means in a minute. You have manual mode, and then store. Then your power. When you hit power, you have to let it warm up. Why? Because it has one 12AX7 preamp tube in this amp. So you do get real tube preamp reaction from both amplifiers. Okay, like I said, both the amps are almost identical, except for the other one just has a little bit less on the delay section, and that is it. The power is the same. You cannot run any more speaker cabinets off of this amp. You can run what's in it, and that's it. There's no speaker outputs on the back. 8 ohms per side. Same as with the other one. The 60 already has one 8-ohm speaker in it. Then the other, it already has another 60 watt RMS power amp built into it to power a separate 112 cabinet or even a 412 cabinet that is set at 8 ohms. So they're almost identical except for size. And the speakers are just simply labeled Johnson, more than likely, since 80% of the speakers in the world are made by Eminence, and they just put different names on the back. They'll write Celestion or whatever you want on the back of them. Okay, so Eminence makes most everybody's speakers, and they just slap labels on, kind of like Samick makes most of the guitars in the world, but they just put a different name on them. So same type of thing. Okay, so now that you kind of know what's going on, let's show you this and that, and this will explain something to you. What comes with that amplifier is a piece of crap as far as foot switching. Okay, you get the J3 controller. This is crap. Okay, so you get to go up and down. So you get channel 1, then, or I'm sorry, you go to bank 1, and then go to channel 1, channel 2, channel 3. Then go, you know, or whatever, then go up to bank 2, channel 1, channel 2, channel 3. But you can't go backwards until you go all the way through them, or go backwards this way. It sucks. Because what happens is, on this amplifier, or the other one, you have reverb, you have modulation things, flangers, or whatever you want. What were the other things? Chorus, phase shifters, tremolo, all kinds of things, and then all the delays, but you can't control any of that from here. You can't turn them on, you can't turn them off. That sucks. So, but this is the foot switch you get with it. So the real foot switch that works with this amplifier is not the same one that works with the Millennium. The Millennium has a foot switch called the J12. This one comes with what's called the J8. Very, very simple. You have an expression pedal over here. Okay, so it runs as a volume pedal all the time. All the time. The Johnson Millennium thing is so different. It's got two of these. You can make them assign any parameter of anything to this. You could do whammies. You can go from a Fender Twin when it's here to a full-blown Marshall when it's here, or have it half and half of both amps when it's here. You can have the Fender Twin coming out of one speaker and the Marshall coming out of the other speaker. The Millenniums are just nuts. But what else is in here? That's just a volume only. You can't assign it to Jude, Jack, Squat, except for what this has, which the other ones don't. It has the switch right there. What is it? That's your wah-wah pedal. Click it. Click your wah-wah, no matter what. It's always a wah or a volume. So it's always there. Okay? So whenever you have this on, that is always your volume pedal. If you leave it down here on patch number 1, it will be there on patch number 2 and patch number 3. It will not go back to full or back to 0 or anything. It remembers where you're at from every single place. No other modeling amp does that. Not even the Millennium. It doesn't remember where you're at. It just goes back to full on every patch. So this was different. The Millennium came first. These amps were later, so they thought that out later. Okay, very simple layout. Here's what you have. Again, you have bank up or bank down. So you're right now are in bank 1, and you're on patch number 2, or actually channel number 2. So you got 1, 2, and 3. Then you go bank up to the next one. There's bank 2. You have patch 1, patch 2, or patch 3. Okay, and you just keep doing that all the way up to the 90s. I should say the 9s. Bank 9, patch 1, patch 2, patch 3. Okay, that's all it is. So here I am in 1, and so what you have is 3 buttons. That's it. These are to turn on and off your effects. These are your pitch and modulation, meaning your choruses and your flangers. Right here are your delays. Here's your reverb. If you hit store with your reverb on, it will come on with your reverb on. If you want that whole setting to come on with your delay on and your modulation on, all 3 effects at the same time, hit store over here twice, and it will come on that way every time you go to bank 1, channel 2. But if you don't want it that way, and you just want the reverb to be there every single time that you go to that patch, but then you want to be able to turn on your delay and turn on your whatever you select this to be, okay, whatever it is, that will be the on and off for it. So you have to get the J8 pedal, otherwise it's just stupid to even own the amp, because if you can't turn your effects on and off, it's not worth having. Okay, who wants an amp with all the effects on all the time? Nobody. Okay, so that's how simple that works, and such an easy pedal board, and so great. Who needs 30 effects on at one time? No normal person. So if you are a super effect person, go get the Johnson Millennium. Okay, now here's what we have way over here, which I did not go through yet, even though I'm strapping on my guitar, which is fine, are all the amplifier modes. Let me step behind the camera again where I give you all this really crappy looking stuff. Okay, how's it looking through the camera? Okay, you get to go through here and pick out the amplifier types you want. There's American amplifiers. You have the blackface, the tweed, the rectified. God, I wish I could read that. A British combo. God, I'm sorry guys, I'm blind. What's it say? Oh, the boutique amp and the high gain. That's all that's underneath the American. So you pick an amplifier you want to work with first. Or you can go, I'll just do this since I can do everything. Or you can go through the other sections and pick some more amps. Here are the British amps. The Class A clean, the Class A dirty, high wattage, a master volume amp, a modern gain amp. That's where you get all your Marshall shit. And then a hot rod amp. These are all Marshall sayings without saying Marshall. But with the Millenniums down there, they will tell you the Marshall, the model number, everything, the frequencies of the highs, the lows, and mids. They actually match the exact frequency from that amplifier down to the every detail. When you get into different amplifiers that don't even have mid-range controls, of course the mid won't work, but I mean on the Millenniums they match every single thing that there is, and the frequencies match. So if you're on a high watt amplifier, or if you're on whatever, the bass, say it's a 80 hertz, it's going to be 80 hertz on that Millennium amplifier. Up here, it's just, they don't name anything, so it's just a crapshoot. But they give you kind of a idea. Johnson's own model of amps: a clear tube amp, a crunch tube, a saturated tube, sounds like PV, fuzz, overdrive, metal. Okay, so you start off by picking out an amplifier, is all you do. Okay, so let me go back. Here, I'll show you a couple things I have already done. Just let you kind of hear the amp with no volume pedals, no compressors, none of that. This amp does not have a compressor built in it. The Millenniums do. The Millenniums have a couple hundred effects built in, honestly. Honestly, swear to God, where these have 3 that you get to choose from. Well, 3 sections. You get a reverb, you get a delay, and then you get whatever's in the modulation, whichever you pick from. Okay, so here's one that I have that's just, here's straight clean, using the blackface preset. And I'm using this guitar, which I will be using in strat mode, meaning I'll be using that pickup and the middle pickup at the same time, all the time. Okay, so that's the way it's going to be. Guitar on 10, tone on 10, everything on the guitar on 10. Okay, here we go. So this is the blackface with reverb coming at you. Turn it up on the guitar. Turn off the reverb, hit it on the foot switch. Okay, the foot switch has already paid for itself, hasn't it? Crank her up. yes, these amps are very, very, very loud. Once you get past 4, this thing goes to town. Again, the wife's sleeping, so I'm not going to open up and let you hear it because I sleep all day long and I will not be able to make a video while I'm sleeping, and I will not get up earlier just to make a video. So we have to do compromises. Okay, so beautiful. Turn on the reverb again. I'll turn on the modulation via the foot switch. I have picked, what the hell have I picked? A chorus. Okay, so I turned it on just via the foot switch. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a panning tremolo. So it's going back and forth between the two. And of course you can change that all you want. We have speed and depth and level. Okay, so I will change the speed. Of course. The depth. You can really go hardcore. And then how loud you want that thing, or the level of it. But if you don't want it to be that smoother. Okay, I will come back to that. Here's the delay I have in it, analog delay. Okay, that is for me to, I have done the tap it. It's over here flashing green. If you can see this, I'm not zooming in. But I have it set, so I'm going to just the bridge pickup right now. For that one slap back, so the feedback's turned way down. Okay, so it's like that. I'll turn that off now too. I'm going to go up 1 to bank, or still we're on bank 1, 3. Now it's the same exact thing, but I have different effects on it now. So it's exactly the same amp. It's still the blackface. Everything, I just copied it, put 12 over to 13, and then put a different set of effects on now. So now where the pop modulation is, I hit it. I have chorus coming on now. So this is every bit as convincing, every bit as pretty, every bit of everything as a Roland JC120. It is that stereo. It is every bit as clean without the nasty distortion channel of the Roland. I'm going to turn all 3 pickups on at the same time now. Check this out. Flippin' beautiful. And let me tell you this right now, I know it's 24 minutes into this thing. I bought this amp, and you could buy these things $123, and I had free shipping. eBay. You guys are letting these things go like crazy, these Marquee amps, and they are phenomenal. They will smoke all your little Mustangs and PV Vipers and all that crap, and you get the whole goddamn amp with it for $123. I paid $150 for the JM60 right next to it at the pawn shop. Okay, so to let you know, you get these for less than the price of a decent effects pedal. but with the whole damn amp, and they are so much more reliable than a tube amp. Okay, whether you think they sound better or not is totally up to you. But there is the one 12AX7 tube in the preamp section, so you do get natural preamp distortion. Not power amp distortion, preamp distortion. So that's a whole different thing. But that's like with your Ibanez tube screamers and all that kind of stuff. That is preamp overdrive or preamp distortion. That's that kind of distortion. Not where you take a Marshall and turn it to 10. That's power amp tube distortion. Okay? Back in the 60s. In early 70s, before they made a master volume. That's all power amp distortion and compression. But to get these amps at that kind of price, you are out of your flippin' mind, man. The Millenniums I used to pay almost $2,500 for when they were brand new, and that's what the first one was paid for. Now you can get them for $450. You can get them with $600 with the big J12 controller, bigger than the one I just showed you. And they do a million times more than these do, but you have to be a tech head or an airplane pilot to know how to use them. But once you do, you'll never go back to this thing. But these are amazing. I mean, they are flat out amazing. Will blow away any other amps on the market, period. And yes, I would definitely use these still over the amp effects, or the, what the hell they call them. You know what I'm talking about. God, don't have strokes, people. Shit. I know you're all over there yelling it out, just saying giddy up and go. Okay, I'll go on with it, but the effects to whatever the hell it is, it's just what happens to my brain. Anyway, so get rid of the chorus, turn on the delay, this time analog delay, but this. Okay, so let me actually hear the sound of the delay. It's cool. RC, how is that? See how it got bassier on the repeats? That's analog. That's not digital, kids. And that is true analog. If you want the digital delay where it will keep it nice and sparkly, switch to it. If you want the ping pong delay where it's going back and forth, switch to it. Okay, here's the digital. See, it stays perfectly exact. It didn't lose any high end like the analog delay did. So there's digital delay. Now switch it to ping pong. Let's go. It's going back and forth between these. Let me tap it really slow. So it's just going back and forth. So if I want to take the feedback and just turn it all the way down, okay, it's done. Okay, you know what feedback does. No, not microphone feedback or anything, but it'll go till you're done. So I'll shut the delay off. Let's go to the, I'll just stick right here and we'll go through everything, okay? Let's get in where you can see whatever I'm working on a little bit. You're like, duh, that would be great. Okay, I'm going to go to the modulation and pitch. No, let's go over here to the reverb. Okay, I'm sorry. You're like, okay, let's go over there. Okay, so it's on hall reverb. Okay, just reverb level. Here's reverb on 8. So that is the hall reverb. you only have 3 reverbs, like I said, hall, spring, and plate, and then the volume of the reverb. But you can have that volume of the reverb different on every single patch, because it stores all your patches. You just call them up via the foot pedal. Here's the spring. Let me get it off of all 3 pickups. I still have it set for the old other thing. Where do you want it? Want it down? It sounds like a spring reverb. It's got that spring sound. Let's go to the plate reverb. Turn it up so you can hear what the plate sounds like. Oh, actually, turn it on. How would that be? Reverb on. Back to hall, which is what I like, but I like it lower. Okay, so we went over the delays, and let's go to the reverbs. Let's go to all the modulation effects, which are, God, I'm trying to see here with you folks, sorry. And I will get this over during this 1 hour. I swear I will. I will not go over an hour. Oh God, I'm sorry that I'm making you puke by looking at this, but I cannot adjust this to save my damn life. One of these days I'm actually going to hire somebody to do all this. And no, I don't use the wife for that. She is not paid labor. I love her too much to make her my camera person. Okay, good God. Okay, you can see the top of it. Screw it. You can see the top of the knobs. I can see that. Okay, so modulation. Let me turn on modulation, see what's on. Okay, the chorus is on, which you heard a second ago. Let's just switch it to flanger. Okay, and of course you can change the speed, the depth, and the level. You can't read that, you poor bastards. God, I'm so sorry. God, will it hold? Not enough to stay there. Okay, damn. Okay, we got it. So we have the speed. You guys know what flangers do. The depth. Turn it down. Go faster. The level. To the point where it's ridiculous. Okay, so let's... And phase shifter. To the tremolo pan, going back and forth, stereo. To the vibrato pan. And yes, one of these you can actually use your foot switch on the where it says mod and pitch. One of these actually, maybe it was the tremolo pan. Let me go see. Back to tremolo pan. No, it shuts it on and off. One of these actually speeds it up and slows it down like a Leslie when you hit it. And it's not that. Let's go back to the, I think it is the vibrato pan if I just don't click it and let go. That's the volume pedal. But one of these does actually change it so you can, oh, it's the rotary later, duh. Rotary speaker, Leslie. Okay, ring modulation. Of course, you could play with that and robot ties all you want. It's like, who would use that? A lot of people. Right there, you can do all your Frankenstein stuff by Edgar Winter if you have distortion on. See? Put distortion on with that and you're off to the town. So you get to do all kinds of fun crap by messing with that. Pitch. This is... Remember I told you could get harmonies? I'll show you that on one of my other patches. I have all the harmonies put in there. But you can change them. And after you have all this stuff saved, you can just turn that switch off down there on the floor and hit, store on the amplifier, and it will not be there when you go to that patch until you turn the foot switch on for that. So you never have to twiddle knobs again. But the great thing about these compared to most modeling things is you actually get to do them in real time. You get to turn back and turn knobs like an amplifier should be, instead of scrolling through menus like you do on the Millenniums when you have time. There I have an octave above, octave below. So it's all over the place. Let's go to the detune. This is actually detuning. So like a 12 string. It is not chorus. This is where one note is slightly, so it's two even notes if you make them even via the level, which I have, or you can turn the level down and have your original signal one level and then the other processed one a different level. Here it's just off. Now I added in the second note wide open. So it's not even chorus. It doesn't modulate. It doesn't. Sorry for all this weird looking stuff passing in front of you. That's actually my hand. So it doesn't go like a wave like this, like chorus does. It doesn't fluctuate. It is just a straight note that is detuned as much as you want it detuned from the first note. Now it is just barely detuned. Detune it just a little more, just like detuning part of your 12 string. Okay, so if all your strings are the high E and the high B, they are identical unison notes, but just slightly out of tune with each other. Just enough to fatten it up. That's what gives a 12 string its sound. Of course, other than the octave strings, but on the high E and high B string, you get this sound. Two strings at the same time that are supposed to be tuned together, but because of temperature or humidity, one has gone out just a little bit, so it sounds like or on the 12 string. So that's what detuning. Rotary. Here we are finally. Now if I see the foot switch blinking, I'm not going to try to adjust the camera again for God's sake. But if I go down there to that switch, it will speed up and slow down like a Leslie cabinet. If you don't know what a Leslie cabinet is, it's a rotating, a roto vibe. If you guys have to go by effects names. Now I will push that again. And it goes quicker like a real Leslie cabinet, which is the great big huge cabinet from the big Hammond organs. You know, that's It's not a Jimi Hendrix. It's not a guitar thing. It just became a guitar thing because people were looking for. They were plugging their guitar into everything they could. That's why their dogs limped around the way they did. Push the same button again. I mean, they do everything. So that's all of the effects. Okay, that's it for effects. So let's shut effects off. Period. Let me go to a chorus so I can shut that effect off. Let's go listen to amps, shall we? Okay, we've got 20 minutes for me to mess with this. So, of course, you know what high mids, bass, presence, all that kind of crap do. So I'm just going to sit here and go through the amp models with you. Okay? So let's get off of this crap. Let's go to the... And like I said, every single one of these, you can change the volume, the bass, mid, range, presence, all that, and just hit store, and it will store it for every single patch. Okay, so it's not like every single one of these things is going to remain there for every patch. It's once you hit save, it is stored there. Then you can change every damn knob on the entire amp, and that will be for the next preset. Okay, so it's always going to be there. You don't. These knobs don't mean jack shit. You know, after you hit save, then it saves it. And if you want to change anything during a real gig, and okay, you're checking that, and you want to tweak it a little bit, then hit save again. Your tweaks will be saved. It's like it's not always going to be what it says on the front of the amp. Okay, unless you hit a button over here that says manual, then it will be everything that way. But who in their right mind would do it? Okay, let's listen to amps. Right now it's on the American. Okay, which is what we have here. That's the blackface. You've been listening to the full time. No, it has nothing to do with Sammy Davis Jr. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. What the hell. Has nothing to do with Obama. Blackface, okay. Okay, I'm going to turn the reverb down. I'm not going to turn it off. I'll turn it to there. Is that okay? Thank you. Okay, you have no choice. Here's the tweed. Okay, you're hearing that tube crunch now. Okay? So, you're starting to get some crunch out of that actual tube. Here's the rectifier. You can turn the gain down, change all the tones and everything you want to, but we'll go through all this quick. So I turn the gain down to 5, or turn the gain up to 10. And of course you could change the volume and make it equal to all the other patches, but we're just going to listen to the different things. A blues combo. Again, I'm using the bridge pickup and the middle pickup on this, and you can change all those tones you want. Change the gain. Here's the gain on 10 for that one. Okay, I'll go to the neck pickup. Okay, so you know how to do this crap. I don't have to explain it all. Boutique amp. What's that? That's gain wide open. Gain down. Okay, the next one, high gain amp. That's with a gain down in 4. Okay, so those are all of our American things. Then you go over here to the British amps. Okay, so here is the Class A clean. Okay, these actually have less output unless you want to make them more output, because it's going to be based on an AC30 for the clean stuff and a Marshall JCM 800. I can already tell you for the most part on the dirty stuff with a master volume. So you don't hear a lot of mids, but you can put them back in there, or highs. There's your highs. So very Vox AC30-ish. But it's got that scooped mid of an AC30. Here's a Class A dirty. Change pickups. Neck pickup only. Of course, adjust everything, your gain, your treble, whatever you want, and store it. And then go to your next one. High wattage. What's going to be a high watt? Change your tone or your gain, I mean. Okay. Next one is going to be master volume, which will be a JC800 with a master volume. Gain on 10. If you know, back in the 80s, these amps didn't have a lot of distortion until you started putting pedals on them. So they weren't high gain amps back then. Those are over here in the next section. Here's the modern gain. Then next one says hot rod. Okay, so you're getting some cool stuff. And again, you can mess with all your tones, all your everything, and your effects, and store them, blah, blah, blah. But the $123, good God, people. You get, this amp sounds so damn good. I can't believe that everybody lets these things go for nothing. You all are out of your flipping minds. I'd buy them all if I had the room for them. Why? Just because. I hate to see them go to waste. It's just sad. It really is. Johnson amps. Clean tube, it says. Turn up my guitar again. Shit, that's loud. Very loud. Let's turn down the master. Shit, that's loud. So the Johnson stuff sounds better than all the other stuff. Crunch tube. And that one's not as loud. So I would have to change the level, how loud I wanted it. Change the gains. Change pickups. Again, all these tones are just preset on here, and I'm not changing them. I'm just showing you the basic amp sounds, and you can tell what you can do with the tone controls, because I have no time, because I talk like a son of a bitch. Okay, saturate tube. Turn the gain up to 10. Turn the gain down to 4. God, I love that song. Nazareth. Hair of the dog. Okay, where are we going? Fuzz. And yes, it has a gate built in this amplifier. You can do it on every single channel. You hold down like the model amp or the model button, and then go over to here where it says select, which I'll show you in a second, and you can just turn it, the gate right where you want it. So you don't have to buy a noise gate. It just shuts. Listen, there's no goddamn noise, and there's all this going on, but there's no flipping noise. None, zero, none. You can have all your effects on at one time. No noise ever. You can't tell the amp is on. There's no hiss like from this damn Fender piece of other tube amps. And okay, so Nothing. Quiet as a damn mouse, unless my wife yells at me or something. Nothing. And it's loud. Now I'm just going straight overdrive. Turn the gain down to half. Turning up the gain. Here's the gain on 8. Go to a different pickup. Of course, again, adjust your tones. I know they're not optimal right now, but I'm not going to adjust tones on everything here to make it sound great through a 1-inch speaker on my microphone and on your laptop speaker in the middle. Okay, I'm just going to go with the gain wide open. So I'm just going to go back through. Those are all the different angles. I'm going to zoom out of here, back to this way. Let's go to another patch I have set, my first one. This here's just a preset I made. Just bank 1, channel 1. Okay, if I turn on the delay on the foot switch. Okay, now's the stuff you're looking for. I know, I make you wait an hour to get to it. You know, turn it off. You can't turn it off without the J8 foot switch. You can only just turn to the next amp, and you can't turn your effects on and off. Okay, so you get the foot switch. They're out there. You can get them. They're not cheap. These go for about the same price as the damn amp. Again, remember, all this stuff is discontinued and hard to find. But when you find it, good God, spend $123 for an amplifier with all this built in it that just sounds amazing. And you don't have to carry any effects with you except for that one little pedal board. You know, it's like there's nothing to go wrong here. Then you have another one, just like the one next door to it, as a spare, with all the same patches. You can MIDI them together and dump all your patches from this one to that one in about 5 seconds. Yes, 100%. That's what I love about these. Every one of my Johnson Millenniums have all came off the one that I did for like 12 years on the road, and I just ran MIDI out into the other ones, all my other ones, like 6 of them, and put all my life's work into every single amp via one button MIDI dump, dump. And it went right into every one of my amps, one at a time, and all my life's work is saved in every single amplifier. It's a beautiful damn thing. Okay, what do I have for my modulation on this one? Okay, this is just my basic distortion that I choose for my bedroom. If I want to change it over to, I need some mid. A little high end. Not that much high end. Okay, so I can adjust it and then go right over to here, and if I like it better, hit store twice and it will save it there. If you get it and you want it to go to a different location, hit store once, right here, and now it's blinking 1 1, and start switching and put it all the way up to 53 or 63 or 71 or 72, 72, 73, anywhere you want it to go, and save it. Okay, I'm not going to save it anywhere, so I'm not going to push the button. I'll actually get out of it and back over here by the foot switch. Back where I was. Modulation, what's it got? Pitch. The guitar shut up, the amp shut up, the reverb kept going. Silence. Not a hiss. And this thing is loud. Not a damn hiss. Nothing. Yeah, it's a good old Kiss song off the side 4 of the Live 2. Okay, but that's the stuff, man. That's the shiznit. I'll go up a thing. Okay. I'm just going through patches. That's going back and forth between the speakers. If you have on headphones, you can hear this. Just such cool crap. Better than any other amps out there. Except for my Millenniums. That's a great sound there. Man, I love that one. That's nice. And now the wah-wah. I forgot to show you that. Just click it like any wah. Okay, so that's on a distorted channel. Let me go back to my original clean shit. I forgot to show you the wah. That's sacrilege. Now get rid of the wah and just use the volume. And these, you don't need the Morley. They have perfect perfect tracking. You don't need an external volume pedal at all. So you guys that are out there that love my sound with the Morley, you don't need them with this amp because this acts perfect. It does not change your tone when you roll your volume off via your volume pedal. I mean, it sounds perfect all the damn time. It's a shame that not everybody in the world should have one of these. Stereo. How flippin' great, dudes. Stereo headphone, guys. Let's hear it fades in. All by itself. Okay, so anyway, I'm powering that sucker down. Scott Grove, GroovyMusicLessons.com with the Johnson amplification, not Johnson amplifiers, but Johnson amplification. If it does not say Johnson amplification on it, you have a piece of shit Johnson. Okay, so here's what you're looking for. That, it will always be up in the upper left-hand corner, never in the middle, ever. If it did, people broke it off and they stuck it somewhere else. So Scott Grove, Groovy Music Lessons, and there you go. The Marquee series in a nutshell. Again, the foot switches actually run off of a 5-pin, just a standard MIDI cable. Okay, $123 for the amp I just showed you, shipped to me. Okay, the other one's identical. It's just missing a 12, but it does have a second power amp built into it to throw another external speaker cabinet on it. You can separate it as much as you want and have everything going right and left. And yes, you have effects loops in the back. Again, the noise gate built in, so it will be dead ass quiet. These are amazing. This is everybody's wet nightmare for an amplifier effects all in one, and you do have the real tube there. It's just solid state power, digital and analog effects, but you don't have to scroll through a million on the LCD screens to go through, you know, that kind of thing. So if doing knobs in real time is your thing, then finally hitting store, and it will always be there the way you want it. There it is. If you want to really tweak them and go through tons of mind-numbing stuff, which I love to do, then the Millennium does 10 times what these will do. But you have to spend 10 times the time to make certain things happen. And they have a lot more effects if effects are your thing. Otherwise, if you need the basics like all of those, what else? What else could you need? A compressor? Anything else? Add it on for a couple bucks, okay? Again, take care. And the Johnson amplification Marquee JM120 is what I was playing. The other one's the Johnson Marquee JM60. So they both have the exact same amount of wattage. It's just a matter of if you know, they both have two 60-watt power amps in it. The other one's just running one speaker, waiting for you to plug in the other one. Then it will become a 120. Okay? There you go. Great flippin' amps. For any kind of money, that's a great amp. For $1,000 what they originally were for that one. Amazing, but for that kind of money, you guys are retarded for not getting one. So I'm sorry, I'm not PC for saying retarded, so get-tarded. Get one. I mean, good God. I don't know what else I have to do other than buy you one and send you one. I know all the 12-year-olds out there. Yeah, do that first, okay. Okay, I'm out of here. I'm over my time limit. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.